Hey guys, today I'm bringing you my first ever fan requested video. One of the comments in my video top 5 genre defining action movies reads, "Hey, I found you from Drifter and your content is amazing. Could you possibly do one on like maybe music? What define music? It can be a genre of your choice. Keep up the good work." Well, Nate G, this one's for you. Here are the top 5 underrated voices in rock. And I'm going with underrated voices as opposed to just the top 5 voices in rock because that's such a boring video. It's going to be, Freddie Mercury, Steven Tyler, Steve Perry, and 2 other people that are probably interchangeable, and it's just going to be a predictable, boring video. So I'm going to go with underrated singers and hope that I can either introduce you to someone you've never heard of before, or make you rethink your thoughts on someone you have heard of before. So let's get to it. Now, if you're anything like me, there's always been this burning question in the back of your mind. What would it be like if Kylie Minogue was the lead singer of Mudvayne? Which is why I was so happy when I discovered The Birthday Massacre with lead singer Shibby. I'm assuming that, that's how it's spelled. Anyway, she's number 5 on my list because, truth be told, there's nothing spectacular about her voice. She doesn't seem to have incredible vocal range. She doesn't seem to have a very unique sound to her. But the way that the head-thrashing, break all your guitar strings, smash your expensive drum set, musical stylings of the band around her mixes with her innocent teenage schoolgirl sound is a match made in heaven, which is probably a huge insult to both heaven and the band. But this is a band that I definitely suggest you check out. If you have not been in a hot topic in the last decade, you may not have heard of them, but they're definitely worth your time, unless, of course, you don't like your music videos giving you Wes Craven-level nightmares.
Big blue eyes, pointy nose, chasing mice and digging holes.
So 2 years ago, Ylvis rewrote the definition of going viral and broke the internet when they released their song The Fox, or What Does the Fox Say, on YouTube, racking up over 579 million views to this point, and flooding everyone's inbox with suggested videos of Ylvis from before The Fox came out. And I'll admit, I checked out a lot of these videos and I watched them and I thought that they were decent until I clicked on one called Jan England. And realized pretty early on that this is a band that has real talent. This is not your typical comedy YouTube duo singing songs about belly button trees and pillows. This is a legitimate band with a legitimate vocal range. And while they're far more popular overseas than they are in the States, this is a band that you should definitely look up. I can't suggest watching all of their videos, and most of their videos I can't suggest watching in front of your mom. But if you just want to appreciate an underrated voice in music, the elder brother, Vegard Ylvisaker, is definitely worth your attention. So in 1993, what would turn out to be the biggest band of the 90s was formed by Scott Stapp and his friend Mark Tremonti. And they would go on to sell millions and millions and millions of copies of every album they put out until 2004, when Scott Stapp's bipolar disorder mixed with a combination of over-the-counter prescriptions, illegal drugs, and alcohol got the better of him in an incident involving a conspiracy theory about the producers of Creed wanting to Kurt Cobain him to sell records and 2 MP5 submachine guns, and the band split up. But fortunately for fans of Creed, the remaining members of the band, not named Scott Stapp, decided to form another band called Alter Bridge and introduce the mainstream world to vocalist Myles Kennedy. And unfortunately for fans of Alter Bridge, in 2009, Scott Stapp got his act together, got himself cleaned up, rejoined Creed, and Myles Kennedy became the #1 vocal free agent in music, only to then team up with guitar legend Slash to promote his solo album and go on tour. The thing that's impressive about Myles Kennedy as a vocalist isn't so much his vocal range, which is excellent, but rather his ability to sing anything. Whether it's his calming falsetto, ballad voice, or his Led Zeppelin level screamer rock voice, Myles Kennedy really can sing anything under the sun, and he can do it at a very high level, and he's got a decent tone to his voice. He's a very pleasant person to listen to sing, and what makes it all even more remarkable is that he is a self-taught vocalist who actually considers himself more of a guitarist than a singer.
I consider myself a guitar player. That was what I worked at, but I guess through just sitting and singing along with Stevie Wonder and Marvin Gaye and Zeppelin or whatever came on the radio.
Are you secretly a fan of Evanescence but are too ashamed to admit it because you're no longer or never were a 13-year-old girl? Well, allow me to introduce to you Within Temptation, because lead singer Sharon Den Adel has one of the most amazing voices I've ever heard. Listening to the smooth, haunting, almost spectral tone of her voice leaves you wondering if sirens actually do exist. And given the fantasy-style genre that Within Temptation plays, that is akin to a band like Nightwish, there really is no better match of voice to style and band in music, in my opinion. I can't think of anyone that I would rather hear singing for this band, and I can't think of anyone who matches their band's style better than Sharon Den Adel, or however the heck it's pronounced. What is with these names? In 2003, Shinedown released its first single, 45, officially replacing Papa Roach.
Cut my life into pieces. This is my last resort.
As the soundtrack to those times that make you want to wear black lipstick and fingernail polish that you don't tell your parents or friends about. And even with rapidly climbing the ranks of the goth community and becoming the top played band on the iPod of anyone who's ever walked into a Spencer's Gifts, the vocals of lead singer Brent Smith have gone wildly unappreciated, and I think I know why. The fact is that Brent Smith, much like Steve Perry of Journey, has such an effortless voice. He not only is able to hit all of the notes, he's able to hit all of the notes while maintaining the typical tone of his voice, and you can actually understand what he's saying, which makes it that much more popular. Looking at you, Bon Jovi. And because he makes it look so easy, he tricks you into thinking, oh, I can sing that song until you're standing on the karaoke stage halfway through The Crow and the Butterfly, realizing that you made a huge mistake in not just sticking with your comfort zone of Creed. So while Shinedown is one of the top rock bands in the country right now, and they are not in any way unknown or undiscovered or underappreciated, I suggest you go back and listen to a few of their songs again, specifically paying attention to the voice of Brent Smith, because it really is worth your attention. So thanks for listening and watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please don't leave a like on this video. The last thing I need is it getting a whole lot of attention from the CR crew. And, goodbye.